Welcome to Microsoft Excel with EJD. In this 13th video, we'll be talking about conditional logic and rules in Excel. I think under advanced tools, we had done something close to this, where we're using an if statement. So we'll still explore this and even go further than what we had done the last time. So conditional logic and rules in Excel. Now, the data set I'll be using is this sales performance data set. But before we begin to explore, first of all, we need to understand some basics. Okay, so conditional logic allows Excel to make decisions based on specific criteria. The one I did the other time, you have some students with their with performances in 5 different subjects, and with if statements, we're able to calculate to compute their grades based on certain the scores that each grade represents. Okay. Now, conditional logic is commonly used in returning different values depending on logical conditions, e.g., pass or fail. If you generally speaking, anybody, in most cases, a score of 0 to 49 means failure, and 50 to 100 means pass, right? But of course, in some other contexts, you can have something more specific, like that. Then, or bonus eligibility. Maybe if people are bought up to a particular amount of something, then they can get bonus. So that's condition, right? Then highlighting data visually based on conditions. So conditional formatting also goes with conditional logic. Then filtering or validating data entries. I think talk under advanced tools too. I think we talked about filtering and validating data. Now let's move on and talk about the nested if statements. That's exactly what we did the other time. For instance, let's say that okay, let me see use what let me use what we have here, right? Let me use what we have here. Okay, let's use what we have here. So for nested if statement, right? What happens is that you want to actually get based on a particular set of conditions, right? You want to see if certain people meet certain criteria. For instance, this we have 20 people, 20 sales reps, so to speak, and they have a target of $10,000 each, right? And their sales are here now. So, and we have bonuses for them based on certain criteria. So, for instance, we can see that I think the least sales here it should be 8389, yeah, 8389, and the maximum should be 12335 or so. Yeah. So we have something like that. So let's now say we have commission based on a particular criteria. Let's assume that we have the following condition for commission. Okay, let me put that here. So let me put the condition for getting the commission here. Let's say, for instance, that if you have sales, so again the list is 8 something, right? The list is 7134, I think. Let's just do it this way. So if you have if you have a sale of greater than or equal to 7,000, okay, greater than or equal to 7,000, then let's say you are going to get a bonus of, let's say the person gets a bonus of 10% of whatever sales they got. Then if you have a sale of greater than or equal to 8,000, right? Then you get a bonus of 12.5%. Okay. And then, okay, let me even use the percent, right? 10% here. Okay. And here we also have a percent thing going. Okay. That's 12.50. Okay. So if you have a sale of greater than or equal to $9,000, then you get, say, 15%. Okay. And then if you have a sale greater than or equal to 10,000, which is the target, okay, you get a bonus of 20%. Okay. So let's say that's the criteria. So we have these 3 levels. So what you're simply going to do is, so you see, the condition we have here is based on the sales, right? So we can just come here and say commission, right? We just call this commission. Okay, then I can expand this. So for the commission, since it is based on, so we just say is equal to sales. Sorry, before we even say sales, if we open the bracket, if sales, okay, we start from the top, is greater than or equal to the highest. We start from the highest. That's 10,000. Can I shrink this a bit? Okay, let me shrink this a bit so we can see what we are doing. Okay, so we say is equal to if we open this sales. So it's always better to start at the top. Is greater than or equal to 10,000, 10,000, right? Which is the target. So if that is the case, then the result here is going to now be, so we have 20% is 0.2. So we have 0.2 multiplied by the sales, okay? Then, comma, if then we move to the next one. If it's 90,000, if C2, if C2 is equal to greater than or equal to 9,000, that is 9,000, then the commission is going to be 0.1 15%, right? That's 15, that's 0.15, 0.15, okay, times C2, comma, the next level, if so another if, open bracket, if C2 is greater than or equal to 8,000, that's 8,000, okay, then that means we have 12.5%, that's 0.125 times C2 will be the commission. Of course, the other condition is otherwise. So since we have 4 levels, so once you do 3 ifs, then the last thing is just going to be otherwise. So otherwise you just have 10%. That'll just be 0.1 times C2. Then you can close the bracket based on the number of ifs. So we have 1, 2, 3 ifs. So close it 3 times. 1, 2, 3, enter. And that's the result for this first one now. So you can just drag it down for the rest to know what their commissions are. So with this now, we know the commission for all these people. Okay, so we can format this now. Okay, and get all borders. And that's it. So we have all these commissions going. So based on whatever their performance, so that's the conditional thing right here. So of course, somebody who sold above 9,000, but not up to 10,000, that's 15%. So 15%. So these are the commissions right here. Okay, so that's a conditional if statement. Now, when do we use this? So of course, it works in Excel of all versions, and it is customizable. All right, and the constraint, those are the pros, right? The cons of this conditional nested if statement, right? Nested if statement, it becomes hard to read and maintain with too many layers. So if you have too many, so if with this for condition, if you are not careful, if you look at what the code looks like, right? It can be really confusing. All right. But you have to really be calm to be able to get it. So it can be really clumsy. So it becomes hard to read and maintain with too many layers. And it is error prone due to parenthesis overload. All right. So but you need to just note that the number of ifs you have is going to determine the number of parentheses with which you're going to close at the end of the day. Okay. I can even create a small space here to show these are the criteria. Yeah. So, I can copy all this. Just a cut, bring it to the next level. Then I just save this as commission criteria if you like. So I can merge these two and say commission criteria. Commission. Oh no, that's not the plan. So commission criteria. So just that's like this what I did for the grading system in a previous video also. So those are the criteria, and then we use the if statement this way. Okay, so now I'm going to copy the original thing out without the commission, right? So I copy this out. for the next task. So I come here, then I just paste, and then of course I need to expand to make it legible, to make it as legible as possible. Okay, I think it shouldn't be too big too, for easy, so I can easily see everything I'm doing. Okay, so now the next thing is we are talking about ifs function, IFS. You know, the first one is nested if. So ifs is modern Excel, that is Excel from 2016 and later. So we have improved upon the ifs statement. Now, if you come back here, right, since we're using the conditional, the nested if, right? So what we just needed to do was we just say is equal to if, and once you open the brackets, so it tells you you have a logical test, you have a value if it is true, and you have a value if it is false, right? So that goes. But in this case now, this is a modernized version of if statements. So what we're simply going to do here is instead of having to do all the plenty ifs, we just do everything straight, and that makes it pretty good. So here, this is what I did here. I did nested if, nested if. But here we have the modern version, which is the ifs. So we have the ifs function. So this is nested if function and this is ifs function. So the ifs function make things really easy, you know, to the point that if you want to now calculate commission, just like we did the other time. So to calculate commission, you don't have to stress yourself that much. You just need to use ifs once, and you don't have to keep doing if this, do that, if this, do that. Just come here and okay, I mean, let's even see is equal to ifs. So if I open this now, so you just have all the logical tests and value if true, and you just keep going like that. So you don't have to do if this, if that. So here, let's do the same thing with the same commission that we did the other time. But in this case now, we are simply going to just say if sale C2 is greater than or equal to 10,000, okay, 10,000. So we just say the commission will simply be 20%, that's 0.2 times C2. Then instead of doing another if, we don't worry anymore, we just continue. Then if it is not that, we just say C2 again is greater than or equal to 9,000, 9,000. Then the commission will be 0.15 times C2. You know, we just keep going instead of doing another if. Then another condition is C2 is greater than or equal to 8,000. Okay, so we know that is going to be 0.125. So that's 0.125 times C2. Okay, then lastly, okay, we see this, all the ifs, this. And finally, we just you just state all the conditions all the way through, you know, all the way through. So here you just say now if so you just state all the conditions greater than or equal to 7,000, right? That's the smallest, 7,000. Then you're going to have 0.125 times the sale amount, and that gives us the condition. So we have exactly the same thing, but we don't have to keep doing if that is 104.625. So we have exactly the same thing here. So ifs has made life pretty easy. We don't have to do the whole conditional if thing anymore. Okay, we don't have to do the conditional nested if, that is. It's still conditional, by the way, but the thing is that ifs just takes care of everything. So just states the criteria and the condition, the criteria and what you should get, and that just ends it. So for instance, Paul from East got 2216. Let's see if it's the same here. Paul from East got 2216.2 exactly. So we have all of that. So um so the use case is just like the same for the nested if, except that you don't have to write many ifs. So the benefits of this one, it's easier to read than nested ifs, and it eliminates excessive parentheses. So here you just have two parentheses, the opening and the closing one. You don't have to keep doing different parentheses. Then the constraints here, the trouble with this is that it's not available in Excel 2013 or earlier, and it's no built-in default or fallback value. So you use true as last condition to simulate this, right? So there's no that fallback where, you know, for the nested if, right? The last thing, you don't have to clearly set the criteria. You just say if it doesn't meet all the so like if you have five criteria, once you state the first four, so the last one you don't have to state, you just say if it doesn't meet those four, then you just print the result for that. So with this done, I move on again to talk about conditional formatting, which we have done in a previous video for sure. Um, but I think it's not a bad idea to revisit it to drive the point home as much as possible. Right. So here we are again. Now we are talking about conditional formatting. Let me rename that conditional formatting. Conditional formatting. Formatting. That spelling is not correct, but let me see. Okay, good. Conditional formatting, double T. Yeah, that works now. Great. So let's go. Conditional formatting lets you visually highlight cells based on rules. So there are built-in rule types. You can highlight cell rules that are greater than, less than, between, equal to a particular value. You can have top or bottom rules, like top 10 items, bottom 10%, etc. Then you can have data bars, which shows value magnitude with horizontal bars. Then you have color scales, which that shades from red to green, low to high. Then you have icon sets like arrows, flags, circles, etc. Now, then you can also use formulas inside conditional formatting. So this provides maximum flexibility, allowing logic beyond the built-in options. So, and how to do this? You can just okay, well, before we come to the formula part, right? Let's do the whole conditional formatting thing. So, all we just need to do is highlight the whole data set and then come for conditional formatting. Maybe you want to highlight you want to highlight, of course, the target is 10,000. So you want to highlight those who had target greater than 10,000. So you come to sales, right? You do greater than, and then format cells that are greater than, here we don't want all cells, right? Okay. So we want to format cells that are greater than 10,000, because 10,000 is the target. So we just say, okay. So with this now, you can just see in one blow that Bob uh, was above the target, Dan was above the target, Eve was above, Grace was above, Ivy was above, Jack was above, and so on and so forth. So, and we had the other guys, they did not meet the target. Okay. So we can do that. Of course, we can go again and just highlight everything and come for conditional formatting. And we're highlighting cells less than, say, less than the same 10,000. So less than 10,000. Okay. Now, okay, no, no, no. In this case, we should choose another color, right? Less than. So this is light red with dark red sets. So what if we do yellow for this and do okay? So now you can see, guys, less than. Oh, not equal to now. Sorry. That's because I'm not interested in all those 10,000 being highlighted. So I have less than 10,000. Less than 10,000, like this. And then we have light red, so it should be yellow fill and blah blah. So now you can see the ones in yellow are the guys who did not meet the sales target. So that goes. Maybe you only have, so you can have a condition where you have only bonus for people who meet the sales target, right? So that can help. So I think that works. Now, talking about the formula thing now, if you want to work with formula in this case, so of course it comes to, you select the range, right? Select the range, that's selecting this data set. Then you could go to conditional formatting, if you want to use formulas. And then, okay, well, maybe, oh, before we even go to that, we can also do bottom rules and all that. So let's say we need top 10 items. So format cell that rank in the top 10. Okay. So you want to format cell that rank in the top 10 maybe we want to see the top 10 salespeople. So we now go for yellow field with dark yellow. Let's do green this time around. Okay. So this is okay like this. So these are the top 10 guys, in the data set. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's top 10. What if we just want top three, right? I can just come back and we just want the top three performers. So, um, so instead of top 10, we can just do top three. Okay. You just press it. So the top three guys, we can see that maybe you have an award for them. Okay, I don't need to use the same color because we've chosen that before. Control Home, Control A. We come here and we need the top three performers, the top three sales guys, top three. And then we just want to change that to say red border for them. And we say okay. So anywhere you see red border, those are the top three guys. Maybe it does it stand out? Okay, I mean, let's leave this alone. We've been here for too long. Okay, let's go for the formula thing, right? So as usual, Control Home, Control A. So you select all the cells, right? So you go for conditional formatting because you now want to use formula. You go for new rule. So if you want a new rule, so you now use a formula to determine which cells to format. So use a formula to decide which cell to format. So for instance, maybe you want to highlight sales under target. So let's see format style. Okay, maybe two color bar. So maybe you want to see A2, all the places uh the type, let's say those that didn't meet the target, for instance, that's the lowest lowest value. Okay, we have to select a rule type. Format all cells based on their variables, or use a formula to determine which cells to format. Yeah, use a formula, right? So if you want to use a formula, you can just come here and say you want this. This is equal to, so any C2, so using C2 now. So C2 less than C2. Okay. C2 any C2 less than what we have in D2. So that will be dollar D dollar two. Okay. So we've also highlighted them the other time. So it's basically the same like before, you know. So we can use formulas like that. Okay. So maybe you want to color code a sales performance sheet. Okay, that's what we've been doing so far. So yeah. Yeah, I think these are basically the things we've been doing. Yeah. Okay, so that goes. So in summary, in short, we have for the nested if it's traditional conditional logic, right? And it is multi-tier grading. The use case is multi-tier grading, like computing results, right? So if function that's clean multi-condition logic, it is modern Excel grading and for status checking. Then for conditional formatting, you have visual cues for data, performance thresholds, flags, and so on. Then you have custom logic, that's advanced comparisons, dynamic checks. And that's what we have right there. Okay. So you can do conditional formatting following certain criteria that you want to work with. And I think with this, let me see if there's one more thing I can do. Let's see. You can open the file in Excel and apply the following condition rules to set to. Okay, yeah, we're good to go. Let's sees it here. All right, so you can do conditional formatting, explore that. The video comes to an end here. Let me know how helpful this is for you. And if there's something you like on the trial, feel free to let me know. And of course, if you have not subscribed already, you're missing. So you want to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can always get alerted each time a new video is released. You can also become a member of my channel. Just click on join and see 3 different layers of membership you can join with attached benefits. Part of it could be, having a one-on-one conversation with me, or get my math PDF notes of my math based on requests and things like that, or getting to see some videos first, or having videos made for just you. So those are some perks of membership. So feel free to avail yourself of that. And if all you can do is subscribe, that is so really appreciated, already. All right. So be sure to like and share this video so that more people can have access to this great video and other videos on this channel. Till I come your way again, keep doing data right. Bye.